have no idea if this is the right room. How is everyone? Yay. I am gonna put this on Do Not Disturb, and I am gonna take a breath. Wonderful. And we're gonna do things a little different today. I'm gonna invite you to get a journal or something to write with and on, because we're gonna explore one card and kind of pick it apart, kind of like what we did with the Emperor a couple months ago, where we looked at the archetype of the Emperor through the various illustrations and decks that I have. But we're gonna write, I think, at the beginning. It feels right, it feels good to kind of even more embody this practice by actually physically writing our thoughts and seeing our thoughts and feelings about this archetype that we're working with. You are absolutely not required to journal. It is okay if you want to keep it internal and in your body and heart and mind. But yeah, an invitation today to put it on paper. So I will give us a few moments to grab anything you might need, and we'll get comfy. Make sure you have something like a cushion or maybe a block or a bolster nearby, because we'll journal, we'll meditate, we'll have a movement practice, and then we'll have some stillness. So I'm trying to be real efficient here with the hour that I have with you. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, let's start with showing you all the images of the tower. I'm going to start with the Rider-Waite tarot deck, illustrated by Pamela Coleman Smith. I like to credit her. Her name's not in it, but she drew it. So we can see it's kind of a more traditional tarot style of art. We see lightning striking the top and two figures falling down, and it's this dark background. Just got this new one. Oh, it's new to me. It's Moonchild Tarot. So a little more cosmic here, but we still have two figures falling down. I like how these figures look more like they're dancing with it, or that there's some sort of play that they're involved with. And they kind of own their bodies in a different way. To compare, you see some flailing, exacerbated expressions. And here you see a little more openness and grace with it. I think that is lovely. This one is Wild Unknown. She uses plants and animals rather than people, so we have a tree here. And we were using lightning again with the imagery and these flames and this fire, but we can see that it's up top. The ground and the roots of the foundation of the building and the plant are still there. And then lastly, here is Mother Peace deck I usually work with during this class. Uses archetypal imagery of societies that honor women, matriarchal societies. So we have lightning again, but we have this woman up top conducting the lightning. It's not striking the building, it's striking her. And we have this other group of women around a fire that they built themselves at a safe distance. So, with all that being said, I'm going to hold up each card and just ask you to write what you see with it. I offered a little bit of nuggets, but I offered my own perspective and what I saw with my eyes. But I invite you to really absorb it and come to your own insights here. What do you see? What do you notice? You don't have to write in complete sentences. I will keep this first writer weight one up for a little longer. And we'll shift into Moonchild. What does this make us feel? And not just what we see, what do we feel with this one? With all of them, really. I'll keep this one up for a little longer. It's my first time incorporating journaling. I hope my pacing with this is okay. We'll switch on over to the next one, Wild Unknown, drawn by Kim Kranz. What do we see? What do we feel? And the last one, Mother Peace. Does it remind you of something? Do you have any bodily reactions to what you have seen in these cards? Okay. Wonderful. Let's take a few moments to find a seat for a meditation with our open notebook in front of us so we can look at the words that we wrote. And you can sit however you want. You could even lay down if you want. Just allow your eyes to come downward to focus on this journal in front of you. If you used the journal, of course. Getting any wiggles out that you might need. Notice your seat. You're in your body, but you're also observing your thoughts and feelings. Literally observing what you wrote to be your thoughts and feelings. Take it all in. The insights from each card that you see here. And we'll take a big breath together to center these 4 different perspectives and views of this archetype. Let's inhale. And exhale. Take another breath at your own pace. Good. And we'll take a brief moment here to journal our thoughts and feelings and check in with where we are right now based on what we saw on these cards, what the archetype of the tower might mean to us, of this imagery. If you already know anything that you've heard about this card, feel free to see what it might relate to you in this moment. How are you viewing this right now? It can be a stream of consciousness, maybe a complete purge. Maybe you just write a few things. Maybe you don't write. That's okay too. You could sit with it and check in with yourself. I'll hold space for about 2 minutes of journaling and then 3 minutes of meditation after that. You could, I will cue 2 minutes in. You can journal for longer. You can meditate for longer. But I'll just let you know when we're 2 minutes in. Feel free to journal away. While we're all journaling and meditating, I'm going to pull one card from each deck. Okay, we are 2 minutes into journaling already. If you have any more thoughts, feel free to get it out. If not, just come into your body now. You can allow the journal to close even, put it away from you. Notice your own physical alignment, where you're at right now with it. Good, and just be in your being. So the reason that I didn't start with just telling you about the tower, with just regurgitating what was written in the guidebooks of these 4 decks, or my own interpretation of the tower, is that the best way to really work with these cards is our own individual ways. So sitting with what you notice with it, what you see, what it makes you feel. Bring your awareness to your seat. Take a deep breath in and out. Really rooting down into that foundation of your seat. Spreading it out nice and wide, noticing the distribution of your weight, the length of your spine, the tone of your core. As you breathe, allow the rib cage to expand. Allow the clavicles and your shoulders to move a little. Noticing the heart space. Feel the length through the back of your neck. And as you inhale next, notice the top of the head. When you exhale, center the awareness to the top of your head. Allow your awareness to settle up here for a bit, just noticing your scalp. Noticing any sensations you might feel or see in your mind's eye. We'll take another breath here. And with our exhales, this will start the descension of that awareness down the body at your own pace with your breath, just allowing it all to melt downwards, that awareness from the top of your head to your seat. Noticing the space in between these two parts. So you'll notice your face, your neck. Where are you drawn to as you bring the awareness downward through the shoulders, arms, torso? Noticing the bending, the curves, the angles that you exist in, the parts and pieces that we're all made up of. Eventually, our awareness will come down to our seat again, to that foundation. And then when you're ready to breathe in again, do it slowly and very intentionally from the bottom up. Building the breath within you. Pause before the exhale for as long that you're comfortable with. Holding that breath within you and allowing the awareness to expand to your whole being. From the root to the crown to everything in between. Whenever you're ready, exhale slowly. Good. We'll stay here for a moment. Simply put, the archetype of the tower is the moment in our lives when the rug is pulled out from underneath us. Is when unexpected unprecedented events happen. And things need to change. These tower moments are pivotal for human growth. Every single archetype in this deck is considered important for human growth. This card, along with the devil, death, they have this like scary side. It's because it's unpleasant. We don't want to think about it. But it's also beautiful at the same time. When we work with these more uncomfortable or not as accessible feelings and archetypes, we can recognize that there is light and shadow. With something like the tower, this catastrophic, life-changing event, it can feel bad and like some shadow darkness. But there's also a lot of beauty to it. There's light that exists. While thinking about the positive change that can come from the tower, I pulled a card from each deck, and we can remove ourselves from our meditation to see what was pulled. Queen of Swords here. To put this in a brief description, this a court card with queen or a king or whatever, whoever, that's more representative of a personality. And when it's queen, we think of kind of like the Empress High Priestess vibes, so more internal, reflective embodiments. And then swords being air, knowledge, wisdom, divine wisdom. So Queen of Swords has experienced, has experiences that have led her to have great insight. Interestingly enough, same card was drawn from Wild Unknown. So a gift from the tarot is this new perception, this new insight that gives us wisdom and peace. We see her here with this hand open. She's above the clouds, but she's not above this bird. So she has this good balance between her elevated sense of wisdom, not letting it blind her, think that she knows everything. She is open to continue to receive these tower moments. Ten of Swords. This is the last card in the suit of swords, since it's number 10. So we can think of this as an end of a cycle. This is kind of a form of death a little bit with this card. Death to your sense of perception. Again, swords, air, knowledge, wisdom. Yeah, really letting go of expectations of anything that you thought you knew. Thoughts aren't facts. It's a big lesson from this one. And then we have the Five of Wands. So we have air, 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 fire, conflict. This one, oh, I love it. It's got a volcano erupting in the back. It's got a phoenix. We have this fiery, transitional ambition, drive, confusion, conflict. 5 being the number between 1 and 10. You're smack dab in the middle of your fire. Okay. Speaking of fire and transition, let's move. We are ready. We can start with spinal movements, seated cat-cow, traditional cat-cow on the hands and knees. Allow it to just kind of flow through you. whatever you choose to set up as, really feel the floor beneath you. Come back into that sense of foundation, of connectedness, of rooting down. And then moving into your own breath and your own movements here. Allowing the breath to slow down and expand and deepen. Let's take 10 deep breaths. With these 10 breaths, we can break apart that 10 of Swords card. With the movement, you can feel less stiff in your beliefs. With these next few breaths, allow certain thoughts and narratives that you attach to really be released through your exhales. Any thoughts or frames of references that just are no longer true. Allowing yourself the compassion to understand that we might fall back into these frames of thought, but honoring how that's no longer true, and that's okay. Good. With a straight back, tune back into the parts of your body touching the floor. If you were seated for these cat-cows, let's come onto our hands and knees now. We'll come to thread the needle. We'll start on the right side. We'll be nice and mindful with it. Let's start by reaching that right arm forward first. So bring that bicep towards your right ear and then lengthen. Notice how we uprooted. So we even out with our knees and that left hand. Good. Notice the shoulder blades. The shoulders are at different angles and directions. Notice the back of your heart. And then with the palm facing down, we're going to rotate that right arm out to the side, about 90 degrees or so. Feel the heat that we're building in that right arm. And bring your gaze to look at the hand. So noticing the twist in your neck and that outward reach with the right hand. Good. As you breathe in, inhale that right arm up as far as feels good to you. And then as you exhale, we'll thread the needle. So yes, getting really mindful into it, settling that shoulder down and the head. This left forearm might come down. You might create any sort of modification with the bind perhaps. Maybe you sink your hips down so it's like a child's pose needle thread thing. Good. We'll take 5 breaths, thinking about the 5 of Wands. The moments of transition, of sporadic outward transformation. Good. One more breath. Good. Bring the left hand back down and then the right hand back down. We'll come back into our tabletop. And we'll take 10 more cat-cows now. So if you were seated before, you have the opportunity to do them a different way. If you were on your hands and knees before, maybe you want to sit for these next 10. But 10 breaths, wiggling around, maybe some side to side motions. Good, a couple more breaths. Settling back into tabletop. Notice the knees, the right hand, lift that left arm forward. Feel that line from your fingertips to your tailbone. Notice the space in between, breathe into it. Good. With the palm facing down, slowly rotate the arm out. Bring your gaze to look at the hand. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, thread the needle. As you settle into your expression of the pose, take 5 breaths. Good. Release when you're ready. Come back to all fours. Good. And with toes curled under, stretch out that back. We'll do the right leg to start with. Stretch out the bottom of the foot and the ankle. You might roll it around a little. Great. So feel this length behind you, allowing the calf muscles and the toes and the bottom of the foot to get a nice stretch. Good. Then we'll come to a side plank. So inner foot comes down. The left arm and knee are our stabilizers. We lift that right arm up. So you might stack your shoulders. You might drop the arm. You might look up. Feel stable in your own body. And hug the navel in towards the spine. Just a little awareness to the core. Good. Feel all parts of the body touching the floor. And feel that one solitary arm reaching up. Good. We're going to try a transition here by lifting that right foot and hovering that leg. So we're now balancing on the left knee and hand. Good. And then slowly we're gonna grab that right knee and guide it with that right hand forward to come to a lunge. So kind of a different way to get into it. And now we're here with our lunge and we can readjust. So maybe we broaden our stance or widen it further back. You might have both hands down. Good. However far feels good for you. So we'll breathe into this lunge. And as you breathe out, we'll come to a runner's lunge. So a hamstring stretch for that front leg, bringing the seat down towards the back heel. Good. A couple moments to settle into this, maybe even sinking into the hips a bit. And then pass this back and forth at your own pace here. So you can sync it up with your breath, one breath per movement, maybe a couple breaths per movement. Maybe one of these lunges actually makes you feel pain in your body, so you don't do that one and you do something else. Taking a moment to discern between pain and discomfort. Tower cards, or tower moments rather, will be uncomfortable. 100% discomfort, but not all of that discomfort is pain. Good. Sink back into your runners, or not runner's lunge, the other lunge. Sink back into your lunge. We'll have our hands on the floor. And we'll come to a twist here. We're twisting to the right, so left hand's down, opening up through that twist. Good. Feeling the parts of the body touching the floor. As you inhale, notice that one solitary arm reaching up. Exhale. Great. Let's step our back leg forward for a forward fold. Good. Just a little bit of moments here to shake it out, to neutralize, to shift and feel the bottom of the feet on the floor and the top of the head dropping down. Open and close the jaw. Maybe you rinse out the shoulders by creating a bind behind you. Maybe you do a couple halfway lifts. Good. Come back to your hands and knees. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Good. And let's stretch that left leg back. Shift back and forward. Hello foot, hello toes, hello ankle, hello calves. Great. We'll come to our side plank now. Inner foot, inner heel down. Find your core, your engagement, your sturdiness, and your reach. Good. Find that sense of balance if you so choose. Slowly lifting the back foot. Slowly bending the knee, guiding it with your hand to bring yourself to a lunge. Repositioning as you get there. Move into your flow on the other side. Good. Settle back into your low lunge when you get there. And we will twist. So we'll twist to the left now. Right hand down, left arm up. Option to lift that knee. I don't know if I said that on the other side. Good. Breathe it in. And exhale. Great. Release it again. Your choice, forward fold or downward facing dog if you want to express this one. Get a nice stretch through the back. Or maybe it's another forward fold. We'll just take a couple more breaths. Good, and then bring it to the floor when you're ready. And bring yourself to your back when you're ready. Hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side. Happy baby, perhaps. Maybe stretching the legs long. Feel the back of your head, the backs of your shoulders, and the backs of your hips on the floor as we hug our knees into our chest. You can maybe interlace the fingers or grab opposite wrists or elbows. Feel the breath of your belly. You might even feel them against your thighs as you're hugging in. When you're ready, we'll do a spinal twist. Start by bringing the knees over to the right, stacking your hips. You have an option to bend both knees, or maybe you just bend the left knee. You can straighten that right one. You can bring your prop, your cushion, your bolster, anything to plug up any space here that you need between your knees or under them. Anchoring the left shoulder towards the floor. Look towards the left. Take another breath. Return to center. Let's bring the soles of the feet down on the floor. Lift your hips a little bit to kind of shake it out, lengthen through the tailbone, and then settle the hips back down. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Rest your knees towards one another. Pause. Just be in your being. Take another breath. Let it out as a sigh. Good. Raise the arms up overhead for a moment to just feel this stretch in the side body. You might interlace the fingers and press the hands away from you to stretch through the hands. Good. And then as you inhale, hug the knees into your chest. Give a squeeze. You can wrap your arms back around. We'll drop our knees over to the other side now. So knees to the left, head, shoulders, gaze to the right. Good. Take another breath. Return to center. Make any other movements that feel right for you. Let's settle into our final resting position. You might choose to lie down on your back, side, or belly. You might bring a cushion underneath you or a blanket on top of you. We'll spend these next 8 minutes together in contemplative silence and stillness. Soak in all the wisdom and any insights that you came to during this practice, and just sit in it. lay in it, bask in it, bathe in it, breathe in it, be in it. Begin to deepen your breath. Invite movements back into your body. Move however you want, wherever you want. Roll onto your side for a moment. Seal in the practice. You might hug those knees inward, maybe have an arm underneath your head like a pillow. After this practice ends, I invite you to look at those journaling, at whatever you wrote. And you might write some more thoughts down. Maybe to take a few moments to sit with yourself and journal anything else. But at least look at what you wrote about what you were thinking and feeling at the beginning of class, and sit with anything that may have shifted or changed. The 5 of Wands, that transition. The 10 of Swords, that end of a cycle in terms of thought. And then that Queen/Mother of Swords, that divine inner knowing, the peace within that knowing. We'll come to a seat if we haven't already, to face one another. And we can end with an Om, hands wherever you want them to be. Mine wanted to come here. So much love from my heart is radiating out. So grateful to have the opportunity to share all these different practices. Yoga, tarot, journaling, all of these different modalities of introspection to help pave way for healing. I thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's Om together. You can join me or receive the sound of my Om. We'll inhale. Namaste. Thank you all. I don't know if I say this every time, but I welcome any insights, any thoughts, any questions, comments, concerns you might have. You're always welcome to message me or reach out to me if you have any suggestions. I'm grateful. Thank you for allowing me to get experimental and incorporate journaling. Let me know your thoughts and feelings.